In the mystical valley of Eldoria, surrounded by the towering Eldar Mountains, a legend has been whispered through the centuries. It was said that once every 100 years, under the light of the rare silver moon, a swan of unparalleled beauty could be seen on Lake Luminara, at the very heart of the valley. This swan, known as Silvara, was not just a marvel to behold, but was fabled to possess magical powers that could bless the lands and people around it with prosperity and peace. The people of Eldoria, a small village south of the lake, lived in harmonious respect with nature, always mindful of their ancestors' teachings about the swan. It was here that Arya, a young orphan raised by the village elder, grew up listening to stories about Silvara. Although she led a simple life, Arya's mind was filled with curiosity and dreams of seeing Silvara herself, which only happened if one was pure of heart and true in spirit. As decades passed, the time of the silver moon drew near again. The village was abuzz with preparations, for catching even a glimpse of Silvara was considered a blessing. Arya, now a young woman, felt a deep longing to seek the swan, not for the blessings it might bring, but for the pure connection to the wonder her village revered so much. The night of the silver moon arrived, silver rays casting surreal glows over Eldoria. Arya, armed with only her grandfather's old cloak and the hope in her heart, slipped away from the busy village and headed to Lake Luminara. The path was steep and the woods thick, but the light of the moon guided her steps. At the stroke of midnight, Arya reached the lake. It was breathtaking, the surface of the water smooth and gleaming like a mirror. Holding her breath, she walked along the shore, her eyes scanning the calm waters. Suddenly, a gentle breeze passed, and ripples danced across the surface. From the midst of the glistening waters, Silvara emerged, majestic and serene, its feathers shimmering with a spectral light that was not of this world. Arya stood in awe, heart pounding as the swan glided gracefully towards her. She felt a warm, comforting presence, as if the swan knew her deepest sorrows and greatest hopes. Silvara stopped before her, and for a moment the world seemed to hold its breath. The swan's eyes looked deep into hers, and a tranquil silence enveloped them. Moved by a force she did not understand, Arya reached out her hand slowly towards Silvara. In a magical instance that would forever change the course of her life, the swan gently touched her palm with its beak. A surge of warmth filled Arya, illuminating her spirit and the air around her with a soft glow. Words whispered through the trees, ancient and soothing, though none were spoken aloud. When the first rays of dawn spread across the mountains, Silvara returned to the heart of the lake and vanished below the surface. Arya, feeling a peace she had never known, wept silently, tears of joy and revelation. As she made her way back to the village, the world around her seemed brighter, and her heart felt fuller. Years passed, and the story of that night turned into a legend. Arya, blessed with a newfound connection to the natural world, led her people with wisdom and compassion. Eldoria thrived as if the swan itself watched over them. Even after Arya passed, the villagers spoke of her night with the moonlit swan, and how, when the silver moon rose, it seemed as though a gentle peace settled over the valley, whispering the wonders of the natural world and the legacy of a woman who believed in miracles.